Hello, this is Rob, the Ignorant Entrepreneur, and I wanted to make this video because a lot of people were wondering how I turned 3K into 50K, and I just wanted to kind of give my simple explanation into how option trading works and how you can get started with only $10. So, with that being said, the option that I always recommend to people to get started with is Snapchat, and that is because it has a ton of volatility, and within minutes you can see $10 become $12, $10 become $15, and of course $12. With $12 you're seeing a 20% return on your investment, and so that can obviously be substantial with larger amounts of money. But so here you have your calls and puts. And basically, your calls are just, whether you think the price is going to go up, and your puts are, whether you think they're going to go down. And, Robinhood, the app that I'm in right now, kind of, simplifies it a little bit for you. And even we'll go into, more information about what calls are, what puts are. And they'll even give you options of how you can trade those calls or puts. So, with that being said, I say you can always start with $10 and you always go for the closest expiration date. Now, what the expiration date means is basically like when the contracts become expired, and that you can no longer buy or sell any more contracts. And if we go up here, we'll see a $42.50 call for what looks like 11 cents, but is actually $11. And so when we put one here, we'll see $11. And the reason I say you can always get started trading $10 is you just saw on the screen how it went from 11 to 12. That just happened in a second. What I like to do is maybe put in what's called a limit price at maybe $9 or $10. You always want to undercut this mark. Remember, a limit is when you want to buy in. And so let's say you were able to get this in at $9, and the price of the option gets to 12. You would be able to sell it for 11. Now, I know you're like, hey, Rob, why can't I sell it at 12 if it's at 12? Well, that's quite simply because of the bid, which is basically what people are willing to buy for the option contract at a given time. And then the ask is what people are trying to sell it at. So, right now it's at 11. You're seeing that people are willing to buy for the $10 bid. If you start with $9, $10, you can quite easily see this get to 11, 12. And that just kind of gives you the idea of how contracts work. And just even look at the chart here. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. These little movements will give you 20, 30% returns when it expires in that week. And it's the same thing for puts. If you've been watching the chart, I do a lot of technical analysis. So what that means is I'll watch the chart and sort of gauge where I think it's going to go. And maybe I could go over the specifics of that in another video. But, it's the same thing with puts. If you go down to, and try to find like a $10 contract, that's typically what I try to find. You can trade puts as well. And one thing I want to caution you about is when you're trading, when it expires in a week, understand that that's the most risky time to trade, right? You can win the most, but you can also lose the most. And that's why we start out with $10. Because as you see, as I go further and further down, as it gets further away from expiration, we see that the percentage loss or percentage gain gets less and less and less. So, as we go closer to expiration, we'll start to see those percent increases go much higher. Yeah, that's really the breakdown. As you get a little bit more experience, you can go further out, and you'll realize that these are typically safer. Because really, the way to look at this is the further out you go, it's like you're saying that the likelihood that Snapchat reaches $41 by November 27th is likely. Or likewise, you're saying that the chance that Snapchat hits $37.50 by November 27th is likely as well. But yeah, I would just experiment with $10 and just take a look at your calls and puts. Watch Snapchat, see how it's kind of like moving, and then just make that bet and see if you can get a 20% return off of it. I hope you like this video. If you'd like to see more of this, please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll be glad to do more videos like this, go more in depth.